When it comes to the long list of dangers in this world, many people jump to the more obvious ones. Stepping outside can get you killed by snakebite in many parts of the world, or if you live in Florida or Australia, you might be attacked by an alligator or crocodile on your afternoon stroll. But when you think of objects of death, rarely do we stroll into the kitchen, past the knives, and head for the refrigerator or food pantry. In this video, we're gonna show you 10 common foods that can actually kill you. The video is gonna be amazing, so make sure you stick till the end. Number 10. Nutmeg. While most of us look at nutmeg and think of it as a spice, a nice little dash of flavor for our coffee or any other food which needs its rich, aromatic, nutty flavor, nutmeg is actually a hallucinogen at higher doses. Nutmeg can cause dizziness, vomiting, nausea, central nervous system excitation, and even death. It takes about 2 tablespoons before someone starts feeling the painful and powerful effects of nutmeg, but it's definitely no joke. It has landed hundreds of people often looking for a cheap, high, or good time in the hospital. The toxicity of nutmeg is surprisingly high for something sold in grocery stores and found in plenty of spice racks. There's a surprisingly small margin between the amount that'll simply spice up your eggnog and the amount that'll cause toxic effects. It's powerful enough that it was even historically used as birth control to terminate unwanted pregnancies and to fight the Black Death. Number 9. Cherries. Cherries seem harmless enough, but these little guys actually can do a lot of damage. Aside from being nearly impossible to chew or crack with your teeth, the stones of fruits like cherries, apricots, plums, and peaches contain cyanogenic compounds that turn to cyanide when crushed. If you accidentally swallow a cherry pit, don't sweat it. They're rarely poisonous when eaten whole, according to the British Columbia Drug and Poison Information Center. Number 8. Dairy, chiefly eggs, milk, and ice cream. Milk. We all know that it's no fun drinking leftover milk that's starting to turn into solid lumpy bits, but it can still cause a problem before it's even reached that stage. As evidenced by the Chinese milk scandal in 2008, the problem here wasn't salmonella, but melamine, a substance harmful to humans. In order for their milk to pass inspection, the melamine was added to a wide range of products including baby milk, so as to make them appear to have a higher protein content. Sadly, adding poison to things being eaten and drunk has never been a great idea, and hundreds of thousands of people were affected directly by these contaminated milk products. Ice cream, milk, and eggs can also be tied into any problems related to poisoning via ice cream. Laugh, but it's possible. Ice cream is also high on the list of poisonings at home thanks to homemade recipes being concocted that would then go on to include unpasteurized milk, which can harbor pathogens such as salmonella that are potentially quite dangerous. So watch out when you're taking a bite of that delicious frozen treat, drinking that pale ambrosia, or eating a raw egg because it can kill you. Number 7. Rice. Rice, especially rice grown in Texas, contains arsenic, a toxin that can cause bad things like vomiting, abdominal pain, and vertigo when consumed in large quantities. The highest levels are found in brown rice, the lowest in instant rice. Despite the toxin's presence, it would be incredibly difficult to poison yourself by eating too much rice in one day. That's not to say nothing bad will happen. Consistent exposure to even low doses of arsenic over time can lead to heart disease and bladder cancer. According to the FDA, there are anywhere from 2.6 to 7.2 micrograms of inorganic versus organic, which is much easier for your body to metabolize arsenic in one serving of rice. Given that it would take about 50 grams of arsenic to kill the average 150-pound adult, you'd have to eat nearly 7 million servings of rice in one sitting to achieve death by rice. Number 6. Rhubarb. Rhubarb may not be as common as potatoes or tomatoes in our kitchens, but this leafy vegetable… Wait, is it a fruit? Well, it's actually a vegetable, but it's labeled a fruit in America based on a legal ruling in 1947. Regardless, it's often used in cocktails and as a tangy, sweet pie filling. And that's the fact that if it isn't prepared properly before consumption or eaten raw, then it turns into wondrous hydrogen cyanide, which is quite poisonous and will kill you. However, the plant's leaves contain oxalic acid, a chemical also used in household bleach and anti-rust products. Oxalic acid occurs naturally in certain foods, leafy greens, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and cocoa. Symptoms of oxalate poisoning include nausea, vomiting, convulsions, and even death. If the leaves of the rhubarb plant are eaten, they can also cause a burning sensation in the mouth and throat. Number 5. Cassava. Also called yuca, cassava is a food staple the world over, used in bread, soups, stews, as an accompaniment to meat dishes, that horrible tapioca stuff, and many other things. Of course, there's a downside, and that's the fact that if it isn't prepared properly before consumption or eaten raw, then it turns into wondrous hydrogen cyanide, which is quite poisonous and will kill you. Cassava comes in two varieties known as the bitter and sweet types, depending on how much potential death they carry within them. The sweet variety produces 50 times less death, around 20 mg per kg of cyanide kilogram of fresh root, but is still poisonous enough to kill a cow. If the cassava is processed insufficiently, then it can lead to what's known as konzo, a debilitating paralytic disease. Number 4. Potatoes. Ordinary potatoes, if consumed at the wrong time, can be dangerous. The leaves, stems, and sprouts of potatoes contain glycoalkaloids, a poison found in flowering plants called nightshades, of which potato is one. If you leave a potato in poor conditions, as in too moist or bright, depending on how they're handled, potatoes can produce solanine, a natural pesticide that's toxic to humans. The compound is particularly concentrated in potatoes that have started to turn green, especially when they've begun to sprout. Or you just let them sit out for too long, they'll begin to sprout. It's suggested to throw these potatoes away even if you do cut off the shoots, as the poison may be in the potato if too much time has passed. Scientists claim that a 100-pound person would have to eat 16 ounces of a sprouted potato to get ill, which is approximately one baked potato. Depending on how they're handled, potatoes can produce solanine, a natural pesticide that's toxic to humans. The compound is particularly concentrated in potatoes that have started to turn green, especially when they've begun to sprout. Potential symptoms of solanine poisoning include vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes cardiac arrest. Number 3. Fugu pufferfish. Fugu or pufferfish is so difficult to prepare safely that Japanese law dictates only chefs with 3 or more years of rigorous training may do so. The fish contains its inner organs lethal amounts of the poisonous tetrodotoxin, for which there is no known antidote. In more recent years, farmers have found some success in breeding poison-free pufferfish by isolating them from tetrodotoxin-laden food sources. The pufferfish is more poisonous than cyanide and can cause a fast, violent death. The liver, ovaries, and skin of the fish contain the poison tetrodotoxin, which affects the human's nervous system. Chefs that work with fugu must train for at least 2 years and have a special license, but many deaths occur when amateurs try to prepare the fish for consumption themselves. Number 2. Red kidney beans. According to the FDA, eating as few as 4 to 5 uncooked kidney beans can cause severe nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea in 1 to 3 hours after ingestion. Uncooked kidney beans have an unusually high concentration of a chemical called phytohemagglutinin that is destroyed when the beans are properly cooked by boiling. Apparently, cooking in a slow cooker may actually make the beans more dangerous because low-temperature cooking increases the toxicity. Other beans contain this chemical but in much smaller amounts. Be sure to cook kidney beans by boiling after you soak them. In addition to their toxicity, raw beans are a small object hazard for young children. If the child puts a bean into a body opening, the bean may get stuck, swell, and become very difficult to remove. Number 1. Haggerl. The national dish of Iceland, Keister haggerl, or haggerl for short, is one that is not for the faint of heart. Anthony Bourdain once described it as the single worst, most disgusting and terrible tasting thing that he had ever eaten, and Gordon Ramsay couldn't even swallow it. Though it's a dish not many could bring themselves to sample, haggerl is a meal rooted in history and tradition. When the earliest Icelandic residents settled on the island centuries ago, their food options were limited. There was fish, surely, but the frigid temperatures required the people to find something larger and more sustainable. Alas, they found the Greenland shark. Abundant in freezing waters and measuring an average length of 24 feet and a weight of 1,700 pounds, the shark was the perfect source of food. Greenland shark meat is toxic to humans. The shark's flesh contains high levels of uric acid and trimethylamine oxide, a mixture that acts as a natural antifreeze to protect the shark from the frigid Arctic waters. Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please click on the next video clip to watch for more health info. Thank you very much.